wrong. They are going to eliminate Hamas. This is not my opinion.
You think that's an attainable goal when you don't even know how many?
Let me read this to you guys. Netanyahu says at least 13,000 terrorists amongst Palestinians killed. Reuters story: nearly 31,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza during the 5-month long war that began after Hamas militants attacked Israel on October 7, killing 1,200 people and seizing 253 hostages. According to Israel allies, Netanyahu said that extending Israel's offensive into Rafah in southern Gaza was key to defending Hamas. We are very close to victory. Once we begin military action against the remaining terror battalions in Rafah, it is only a question of weeks until the intensive phase of fighting is concluded. Biden and his aides have urged Netanyahu in strong terms not to launch more major offensive in Rafah until Israel crafts a plan for mass evacuation of civilians. More than half of Gaza's 2.3 million people are sheltering in Rafah's area.
This is concerning. This is Rafah. If you know anything about Israel, the Rafah border crossing is right where the
border was.
Exactly.
The border, the
with
border.
Egypt, if you've seen that Egypt now. Why can't they go into Egypt? Because Egypt doesn't want them. Bibi Netanyahu has acknowledged that he does not want to go into Rafah and kill more innocent civilians. By the way, and this is Alan Dershowitz who said this, so come after him. He said of the 30,000, and this is all Hamas's numbers, okay? And then if you want to say, all right, the UN, if you want to believe, the UN is embedded with them, so that is not like, that it is 2 to 1. So meaning for every terrorist killed, that 1 to 2 civilians has been killed. Now, you might say that sounds horrible. That's actually some of the lowest numbers you've ever seen in war. In World War II or in Tokyo, in Japan, when the United States attacked them, it was way higher than that. Now, I'll give the disclaimer, nobody wants to see dead civilians. It's horrible. It's tragic. There's 2 million people in Gaza right now that could potentially be under famine. Nobody wants this. But I will remind you, you think Israel wanted this war? You know, they say that there's a ceasefire. There was a ceasefire on October 6th.
But you just asked, do I think Israel wanted this war? From what Bibi Netanyahu has said on camera, yes, Adam, they did. They were waiting for it, and he said the U.S. is basically our bitch, and we can do whatever we want, and they're not going to say anything.
You think that they actually wanted to have 1,200 people slaughtered?
No, hold on.
They wanted actual civilians dead?
Adam, you're saying like they didn't want that. You don't think Bibi Netanyahu wants to wipe out Gaza and take over that territory?
So that's where you're going with this?
No,
is that
you said.
No, I'm asking. I'm not even being a dick. I'm asking you. You think that he wanted 1,200 innocent civilians to die as an excuse to go into Gaza?
Adam, he didn't pick
I'm
a number.
asking you that very exact question.
I'm telling you, he said he could do whatever the hell he wants and nobody will check him because we're his bitch, number one. Number two, that happened. We still don't know what happened. How'd that security fail so horribly where these terrorists ran rampant for 6 hours and did all that they did and nothing happened? Here's my question. You said those reporters left or right. You show me at what point an American news, Fox or CNN, when there's a war going on, said some shit like, I want 100,000, who gives a shit? I want to see dead bodies in the water. That's a whole different sentiment. And the majority of Israelis said that the response isn't strong enough. That's a fact. The average Israeli is like, we should do more, we should have gone in harder and wiped people out.
Okay, so
that's a fact.
Let's do this for a second.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's go to see what they're saying in Hamas land. What do you think they're saying? Forget about Israel. You just identified that. What do you think everyone in Gaza is saying about Israel? Because I can already tell you what it is. You ready? From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
What do you mean everybody in Gaza? There's barely nobody's in Gaza right now. They're all gone. Where's everybody in Gaza?
Hope you enjoyed that latest snippet from the PBD podcast. We'd love to share our thoughts on it and hear yours as well. So feel free to start a conversation down in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, follow us, and hit subscribe for more content like the one you just watched. The recent episode of the PBD podcast touched upon several hot-button issues, stirring a mixture of concern and reflection. As a conservative Republican and supporter of former President Donald Trump, these topics prompt a response grounded in core values and national interests. Let's start with the controversy surrounding the Tate brothers' arrest. If their arrest for human trafficking allegations turns out factual, it is a stark reminder that the law must not only be upheld, but applied evenly across all individuals, regardless of their social media stardom. It would further signify the unwavering stance against exploitation and the commitment to justice. Trump's presence at UFC 299 highlights the enduring cohesion he has with American culture and the sporting world. His affinity for such events underscores his alignment with everyday American interests, and it is a testament to his continued influence and popularity among large swathes of the American public. The prospect of a TikTok ban in the United States raises significant concerns over data privacy and foreign influence. This Chinese-owned app has already been viewed with skepticism by numerous security agencies, and a ban would align with conservative values that prioritize national security. Such action would address the risks of data mining and propaganda, which are not baseless fears but real challenges to individual freedoms and national sovereignty. Regarding the episode's daunting coverage of the ongoing conflict in Gaza, it is imperative to apply a critical eye to any source of information. Former Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's claim regarding terrorist casualties amidst the Palestinian population can be interpreted through various lenses. While recognizing the heartbreaking loss of civilian lives, context is critically important. Warfare, as historically documented, inevitably results in civilian casualties, and by comparison, Netanyahu's implication suggests a more precise approach to reducing these tragedies. Such claims, while needing independent verification, point towards a defensive, not offensive lens in Israel's military actions. Moreover, the call on Israel by President Biden and his aides to delay further offensive action until a plan for mass civilian evacuation can be crafted is a prudent step. It demonstrates a measured approach aiming to balance the dire need for security with humanitarian concerns. Though understandably, some conservatives would argue that the strength and rapid response are essential in such conflict scenarios. Facts must always be distinguished from propaganda, especially in complex geopolitical issues like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The immense weight of protecting civilians while combating terrorism is a challenge faced by all democracies, including the United States. This sad reality reinforces a shared, sobering understanding of the costs of war and the eternal vigilance necessary to preserve peace and order. In the end, any balance sheet of war is tragic, but when addressing these issues, we must do so with a perspective that acknowledges the reality of necessary defense while striving tirelessly for the safeguarding of innocence and the pursuit of peace.